this is actually almost, well, next meeting is the last meeting that we're going to have new content, and then the last meeting, the 8th meeting of the project, is your project presentations. So as you have already noticed, you are almost done with your project plans. We are just starting some technical things to your plan, so that it was easier for you to carry out the activities you have planned for your project. And today our main result is to look through possible project platforms, and to conclude with a situation where you know how to choose a platform and how to create a platform, because your home task is going to be to practice and create a project platform for your project. I have also added a note about the home tasks. As mentioned before, we didn't evaluate the home tasks yet because there was Easter in between, and hey, even teachers need some time off. So we didn't evaluate them yet, but we're going to look through them until Monday. So I hope you have managed to do your previous home task, and we're going to talk about it the next meeting, beginning of the next meeting. Those who haven't done it yet, please go to TwinSpace, log into our TwinSpace, and find the 6th meeting presentation. That's the one that I'm using right now. So find it, download it, and be ready to use it in case you need. You can always also go back and forth to find any information that could have slipped your attention while I was telling. So please open the presentation if you haven't already, and it's in the pages in the 6th meeting presentation. And of course, you already know this, but don't close any meeting or you won't hear me anymore. That's important. Good. So let's begin. And first of all, talking about project platforms. A project platform is basically a place online where you store materials of the project and where you carry out the activities or maybe put some documentation about activities online. That is the one place where all the information about the project is probably stored and available for all departments. And there are many different platforms that you can choose to use for your project. For instance, you can use social networks like Facebook has pages, or you can use blog platforms like WordPress, Blogger, Tumblr, whichever is more easy for you to use, or maybe has more options that you require. You can also make your own web page if you have such knowledge. And you can use sites that allow you to share and store documents online, like Dropbox or Google Drive or web apps, maybe if you're into Microsoft. But there's one platform that we're going to talk more about today, which is TwinSpace. That is a project platform that is offered by eTwinning as a place for your project, and that is automatically created once you register your project. TwinSpace is, and I will talk a little bit more about this, made exactly for the purpose of being a good platform for your project. But eTwinning doesn't require you to use TwinSpace for your project. You can also choose different platforms if you want to, and use different platforms for your project. Okay, and This is a compilation of ideas why Latvian eTwinning ambassadors thought that TwinSpace is good as a project platform. And I would like to just shortly go through all of those things. So first of all, TwinSpace provides safety because you know that all people that interact in there have your you have allowed them to interact in there, and so there won't be any people from outside of the schools that participate in the project unless you have specifically allowed them to be there and to take any actions or look through the information. Also, you have contacts for all the participants in TwinSpace because they're on eTwinning portal as well, and it's very easy to share ideas there because you are together with the teachers and students who are interested in it as well. Another thing is that TwinSpace is, of course, sponsored by Erasmus, and so therefore there are no additional costs, no advertisements, and well, you don't have problems with that. It might be quite bad if you try to create something in a platform that you have chosen and you're required to pay for it after a while, or well, there are different kinds of these plans how you have to pay. But TwinSpace is totally cost-free, and there also will not be any advertisements. Another thing that is very good is that it's possible to recognize all the participants because they're not anonymous. You know which students have written which content, which teachers have added which content, and you can interact with them that way. Because if you remember the first meet, we all made our profiles and wrote about ourselves. So that information is available for everyone who participates in project activities through TwinSpace. And also you have, you can as an administrator, I can't say it, you can as administrator of the project, you can differentiate what different people can do in your TwinSpace. So for instance, you can give different rights to different students. You can have one student who administers the information on the TwinSpace, and you can have another student who can just see the contents or maybe comment them. So that's another thing that's good for it. These are things about TwinSpace. But as I mentioned before, you can also choose to use a different platform if you have specific needs that only that platform provides. Good. And I have talked enough now. I think it's time for you to talk to each other and communicate, collaborate, and then use the information I have provided you with. And I have here compiled 3 examples of project TwinSpaces. So you'll be able to see the medium for the project. You have seen some projects before, so you probably have some ideas. I would like you to look through these examples and in your groups discuss what you find good and what should be improved in these platforms. And when you have done that, there is a sticky notes where you have to add your ideas about what describes a good project platform. So just look through examples, think on your own as well, and as a group, come up with specific points that should be there in a good TwinSpace platform, and then write them down in sticky notes And this time, you can also vote for any ideas that you find great. So you can add more than one vote for it. Yeah. Liana says that Viva had a question about if it's possible to vote in TwinSpace. We are going to talk about all the things that you can do in TwinSpace, and the short answer is yes. Because you can add any technical tools that you want to add to the TwinSpace. TwinSpace is just a space where you put in all the information that you need, that also has some of the main tools you would probably like to use for a project. But we will talk through this later. Now just focus and find out what defines a good project platform, and write your ideas in our sticky notes. In case it doesn't work for somebody, I will also put the link in our chat. So that's where we're working right now. There. And this is it. I'm turning myself off for 12 more minutes. I will be back in 12 minutes. Work in your groups and put down your ideas on our sticky notes, and we'll look through those in 12 minutes. I am back. Just to remind you that you have to write your ideas in our sticky notes. I put the link to the sticky notes in our chat. Just check it out, use it, and add your ideas to sticky notes. So what should a good project platform look like? Start writing them because we have 2 minutes left for this activity. And then there's 2 ideas right now. Wow, so many ideas there. Great. Also remind you, if you are done with your ideas, just look through the things that are written there and vote for the one that you like the most. I will also leave my votes and I'll be right back. So 1 minute, finish your ideas, vote. Oh, and of course, refresh. So F5 button will refresh the content, or the refresh button, because in sticky moves you have to refresh to see the contents. So right now, after refreshing, I see 18 ideas there. So if you don't see 18 ideas, you should probably press the F5 or the refresh at the top right corner of the screen. So I see a lot of things that I'm going to talk about a little bit more shortly, but we have our champion quote, which says that platforms should be simple to use. Also, that the platform should explain the goals of the project, as well as support different activities that might be carried out through the project, including the formats of different files. And also, we have a platform that is secure and well planned. And then there are lots of other things that you have mentioned. And as a sum up, here are the 4 main things that our eTwinning Latvian ambassadors came up with when they were asked the same question. So first of all, similar to what you said, they said that the structure should be thought through and that the platform should be easy to navigate, that it should contain all the main project activities, the aims and objectives and results should also be visible through the platform. They also talked about design, which I see that there is nice to look at, of course. And what our ambassadors said about design is that there should be a single style that is observed while creating the design. The project theme, if it's possible, could be connected with the design. For instance, from the projects that you looked through, the project about the moon, there were little moons as buttons, just to, highlight the idea, the theme of the project. And of course, which you have also put in a very high priority, that the platform should be user-friendly, of course. Also, one thing you have mentioned that it should be safe, which is widely connected with so-called netiquette or etiquette in internet. So it is important, of course, that the language and behavioral norms are observed in the platform. And that is why you as a teacher can administer the platform, just delete the content that shouldn't be there, or the best option, of course, is to prevent any such content of ever being put up there. And the last thing our ambassadors came up with was that they didn't feel satisfied with those 3 things. So they said there should be something special, something that makes your platform unique, interesting, exciting to see. So this is an extra. If you can master that, it's just the highest possible result. Okay, so these are things that they came up with, and I'm happy that all of those things are also included in your ideas. Yes, the originality here as well. So let's try to make platforms like that, so that they were interesting for your students and yourselves and useful for your project. And before we go to the next task, very shortly on how to obtain TwinSpace. So you cannot obtain TwinSpace if you are not registered as eTwinning user, or you can be invited as visitor to other TwinSpaces, but you cannot obtain TwinSpace for your project if you're not registered as eTwinning user. And to obtain a TwinSpace platform, you have to register your project. And to register your project, you have to log in on eTwinningNet. You have to go to the desktop, and then there is a tab called Projects. And under this tab, you will find the button Create New Project. That is where you can create a new project. And once the project is created, handed in, the National Support Service will work through all the ideas of the project, and they will approve your project so that you can gain access to TwinSpace, and your project would officially start. To create a project, you also need one partner for your project that is on your friend list. And I remind you that to get somebody on your friend list, you have to invite them, and then they have to confirm the invitation, and then they become your friends. The next task is going to be to register your project, but I will go through the steps that you have to do before we go to that while sharing my screen. And if you were very, very lucky, you will have your project approved today, because we have National Support Service people attending as well, and they will do it for you if they manage to do it. So you will have your project and your platform today already. I would like to just point out that this is for practice. If you want to use your platform, your project, you want to continue your project ID after that, that is great. But if you don't, that is also okay, because we are doing this to practice and to understand how I can register my project, and how I can obtain my TwinSpace, and how I can work in my TwinSpace after that. So in a second, you should be able to see my screen. So I'm sharing my desktop. And I will try to shortly show you how to find a place to register your project. So be very attentive. I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to eTwinning.net. Just log out. So I'm going to eTwinning.net. Then I have to sign in with my username and password, first login. Then there is the button Go to Desktop. So go to Desktop, which is the place where all the main activities really in eTwinning take place. So the next step, first of all, I opened eTwinning Net. Then I logged in with my username and password. Then I pressed the button Go to eTwinning Desktop. Go to Desktop. And now I have to choose the tab Projects. So Projects. And under the project, we see a blue button which says Create a new project. So create a new project. And you see that there are steps that you have to take to create the project. First of all, you have to select the school that you're from. Then you go next step. And the second step is you have to choose the partner for your project. I will just I'll for now. There's also a search if you need it. Choosing Lena as a project partner. And this is a warning because me and Lena, we are both from Latvia. And in eTwinning, you can also have national projects. This is just a warning that says that both of my schools are from Latvia if I accept it. And I do. And here you see a table of lots of information about your project. Before you panic, this is the information that you put in your presentations. You have all of these things already written and planned in your presentations. You do not have to come up with anything new whatsoever today. You just have to copy and paste the things you have already written in your presentations. Some of you do not have the project names yet. You can come up with the project title, which is going to be the biggest task for this form. And there might be some questions where you have to talk through and think about your project a little bit more that are not mentioned in the presentations. But all of the text that you need to add here, everything you have in your presentations. So you have to do this in a little bit. And after that, you will see the preview, and you will be able to hand in the project for National Support Service to accept it. I'm not doing that now, so that I didn't spam them with a project that is just a test to show you. So very shortly again, first of all, I go to eTwinning Net. I log in, go to Desktop, go to Projects button, and find the button Create a New Project. And with this, I can create my own eTwinning project. Oh, and I see from Lena that she has asked me to remind you how to find each other. I'll help with that. So if you do not, and which is probably the case, have your project partners in your eTwinning contacts yet, you have to go to tab Find eTwinners. So Find eTwinners. And then you can just type in their name and surname to find them. All the information about the names and surnames, in case you're not sure, is available in our journal. Adding the link to any meeting conversation right about now. I just asked Leanna to do that because I can't see it right now. So resuming the screen sharing. So to find eTwinning partners, you just write their names in here. For instance, I'll find. And there we go. When you have found the person, if they are not your friends yet, so if they are not your friends yet, you will be able to press a button here which says add friends. So if they're not your friends, you can press the button here to add them as your friends. And after you have done that, notification will appear for them where it will say that, for instance, in this case, Edita Sarva wants to become your friend. Do you accept her request? And then Lena will be able to choose. But she can't really because she's already my friend. Sorry, Lena. So, again, to add your group partners as your eTwinning contacts, you have to go to Find eTwinners, type in their name and surname. I'll just add something now. Search. You will find them. Then you will have to press the button, add them as friends. I'll just show you how the button looks. All Santas. So they're all Santas, and you probably don't have them all as friends. You see that there's lots of Santas on eTwinning. And here I can see that I do not have Raul, who has also mentioned Santa in his profile in some way, as my friend. So I have a button here that says send a contact request to this person. If I will do it, Raul will get a notification that I want to be his contact in eTwinning, and he will be able to either accept it down here or reject it. And if he accepts it, he becomes my friend. If he rejects it, I'm sad and I'm just looking for a new friend. There you go. That's the short sum of how to add your partners to your contacts. And you should do it before you can register your project. And the next task for you is to register your project. And I remind you that you can both choose to use this registered project to start it and finish it now or later, but you can also just keep it as a practice to do it. So again, it's only 15 minutes, but I remind you that you have all of the information in your presentations. You do not have to come up with anything new whatsoever. Just copy-paste from your presentations. I have also added some information here. For instance, there is a link to step-by-step presentation that shows you how to register your project. There's also a step-by-step presentation on how to use TwinSpace, but we will need that a little bit later. And there is also a reminder of the steps you have to take to get to registering your project. Okay, there we go. 15 minutes. I will be back in 15 minutes. If you have any technical problems, please ask them in chat, but I will turn my video and sound off so that you can work productively as teams for this. Especially those teams who have the exciting task of coming up with the project name, right? So good luck with that, and see you in 15 minutes. Any questions or problems, please type them in chat. The time is almost up. I hope that most of you have managed to register your project. In case you haven't, that is going to be a task. But just to clarify, very good question from Sophie here. You cannot invite all the partners at once. You just need to invite another partner when you start the project. And you can add all the other partners after that. And you can do that in the tab members in your TwinSpace. And I will show it in a second. Or you can also do it from your desktop when the project is approved. Just sharing my screen so right now to show you how. Yes, I got a message from Magita that she has, but maybe some others might need to do this. So if you have created your project and if it has been approved, you can add more partners to your project. You cannot do it right now if the project is not approved yet. When it will be, you will be able to add new partners here. Add new partners button. By just choosing the person you want to add, adding them, and also they will always get a notification that somebody has invited you to the project. You will have to accept it to join the project. Similar as you did when we joined our project. And also, of course, you can do it in TwinSpace, where is the page members, and you can invite new members here as well. Always invite members from TwinSpace as well. Good. So the screen sharing and talk about the next task in a second. So now that you have created your eTwinning project, or registered it, you have to wait for approval. Santa, who is Latvian, NSS is already up to our computer and approving your projects, but international projects need both country NSS to approve it. So it might take a little while for those of you who have registered the project with 2 different countries. Don't worry, it will happen soon, probably tomorrow or the next week. Good. I see that there are some questions in the chat, but Lena will answer all of them, and in case there will be something that I have to react to, I will answer that too. So yes, as I mentioned before, the partners have to approve that they are ready to join the project. If the partners do not approve it, then Santa is writing me she cannot approve your project. So please check the little blue button at the top right and approve your project. Because Santa says that she hasn't seen any projects yet. I suppose you also have some things that you're working on. I suppose that you just have some things that you're still working on, but please make sure to finish your registration forms to invite your partners to your project. Partners have to approve it, and then I will get back to Sandra in 5-10 minutes to see if she has seen your projects and she can approve them. But meanwhile, I'll just go to the next thing, which is going to be to explain you what are the things that you can do on TwinSpace. So be very attentive. This is going to be very important. I'm going to use our own TwinSpace to tell you about the things that you can do in TwinSpace, and you will have to make your own plan for your own project TwinSpace after I have shown you these things. Okay, so I'm starting my screen sharing again. and I am in our project TwinSpace. Lena has posted me a question that I think is important, and before I start modeling, I'll answer it. So when you register your project, you do not have to have a very detailed plan. You just have to have all general things so that the National Support Service can read it through and see that it's really a genuine project that you want to carry out and therefore approve it. So it can be approximative, yeah. That's the answer to the question. And thank you, that's a very good question. But now I'll go on with explaining what you can do in TwinSpace, and please listen carefully because you will need this for the next task. So first of all, first option there is Pages. This is also the main option that you have in TwinSpace. This is the place where all the project content is similar. For us, there is all the meeting materials, as well as our values and the journal and the course calendar. You will also create most of your content in Pages, and you will have option to create a page when you will have your own TwinSpace. For now, you also see this option in our common TwinSpace, but please do not create any content in our common TwinSpace because everything is already sorted for you to be, for it to be easy for you to navigate and use. So this is the main place where all of your project activities will go. And talking about Pages, you know, you have looked through these pages for a while now. You know that you can also add different kinds of content. For example, you can add files. You can also add embed codes, embed different tools. For instance, in our first meeting, embedded Padlet.com here. Also add links. For instance, there's a link to Sticky Mood devoted for our values. You can also add videos with embed code. Like there is the video we have added with embed code. Therefore, the answer to the question earlier is yes, you can have voting options here. And you can also embed forms where you can vote. Like, if you remember, we had our meeting evaluations added as well, where you could just evaluate them online. But since I found that it's easier for you to just have a link, I don't add them anymore, so that only the important content stays in there. But instead, I add a link to the sum of our evaluations. So this is the main plan that you will have to create. So what are the main topics that you want to see on your TwinSpace? And if you have time, and when you meet again, you will have to talk through what is going to go under each of those topics that you will add as a new page. In our case, it's meeting materials. In your case, these could be separate activities that you're adding for your project. So separate activities. And yes, you can create a page by clicking this button in your TwinSpace. So the pages is the main thing. You can also add materials. You can also add materials, images, videos, files. You can upload them straight here and just use them for pages when you need them. So all of this content can also be added. Then there are forums. We used forums in the first meeting. We haven't used them since because we are using Skype instead. But if you want your students to talk to each other, it might be beneficial for you to create forums. That could be the case. It could be your decision. So forums. is also an option. Chat is a tool that you can use if you do not have Skype or any other sort of communication tool apart from TwinSpace, because in that you can, if you're online and chat, you can write anything and everyone will see it. The minus is that there are so many people in there that it might be hard to follow the chat, but it's also possible to use chat. So members is the place where you add a new participants, where you remove participants, where you change their roles and rights, and you can also add students here. So students do not have to be registered in eTwinning Net to be added to projects. You have to invite them by writing in their names and names. So invite members, pupils, and you just add their username, first name, last name, as many pupils as you like, and accounts will be created for them. I'll just go through if I told you everything. So I told about the pages, which is the main sort of thing where you're going to add all of the things that activities or any other information like calendar that you will need for your course. So that is the plan that you're going to mainly work on soon. Materials is the place where you add pictures, videos, files that you need during the project, and you can attach them from here to your pages. Forums is a place where students or participants can interact about certain things. Chat is real-time conversation that's going on TwinSpace if you need it. And members is where you manage all of the people that are in your project. And also one other option, remember that in pages you can embed different kind of tools, ICT tools, and we are going to talk about ICT tools more in the next meeting. But this is the place where you can also embed like presentations, videos, like this interactive wall, comments, and things like that. So this is where you embed things. This is how it looks. These are the options that you have here. And I'm sharing the presentation again. And your task is to create a plan. So create a plan for your platform. Since you do not have the platforms yet, because the projects are still being registered, since you do not have platforms yet, you have to create a plan for your platform. And after you will have a plan, you'll be able to use it to create your own project platform. Sharing the slides in a little while. Meeting. The main options, you know of those now, and you have a little bit less than 15 minutes because I have some things so that I didn't keep you too late. So you will have 10 minutes to talk about this and create your plan for your platform. So look through what activities you have, what pages you will need, and make a plan about your TwinSpace in your project presentation's 5th slide. Okay? So make a plan for your project platform in your project presentation. 10 minutes for this. 10 minutes for this. and I will be back in 10 minutes. Just turning my sound and camera off right now so that you can talk in your teams, create your plan. Yet we are making a plan for your placements right now. I'll be back in a minute.
Your line is now unmuted. Your line is now muted. Your line is now unmuted. Your line is now muted.
Okay, don't be worried. It's okay. Santa has received 3 projects already. So 3 projects are in for approval. She will approve them, but you will also need approval from National Support Service from other countries. So you won't be able to see, probably you won't be able to see your twin space today, but that will happen maybe tomorrow, definitely the next week. It's just that national support service people have to see that there's a project pending and have to approve it. Before it's approved, you will not have access to your twin space, but you can plan how your twin space will look and what you will include in your twin space, which is what we were doing right now. Okay, so there's still 5 minutes left, and I will just briefly tell you about the home task, and then you have to evaluate the meeting. I know that you probably did not manage to do all the plan, and I hope that you're almost done with registering your project. But we will be here a little while after the meeting, so you will be able to ask us anything that you still need to know to do the task at hand. So we are skipping the peer evaluation, sadly, but that's what happens sometimes. And your home task for the next week, for 16th of April, is to finish your project presentation 5th slide. For some of the teams, it's the 7th or the 8th because you have created some in between. But the meaning is project platform slide. In this slide, you should include the steps, a plan for what you will add to your project platform. It could be a page or a forum. Maybe you have an idea of a file or video you were planning to add. So what you will add to your project platform. Also, you have to register your project in eTwinning.net if you haven't done it already, but we will try to see that all of you have. And if you haven't, just write about your problems and we'll help you. And you will have to create your twin space according to the plan that you have created in your presentation. And we are going to evaluate this. First of all, you get 2 points for your project plan, and you get maximum points if you have planned platform so that all the planned activities can be carried out. So the activities are in the 4th slide of your presentation. Just look through those and think of what you need in your platform, therefore. And we will also give you 2 points for your twin space. If you have created a plan, if you have created that platform according to your plan. I will remind you of a material where step-by-step instructions are included on how to create eTwinning platforms and how to register them in case you still need. And I will add them to our sum up email after the meeting. Yes, this is the main thing that you have to do until the next week. Yes, Lena has posted a very good question, and thank you. It's a really good question about the essence of things. So the question is, how is the platform different from the activities that we have planned? It could be that you have pages for each activity that you have planned, but it could also be that it looks quite different. For instance, in our case, I created a platform where we have all of the meetings. So each meeting has one page on their own. I could have added more than one meeting in a page, or I could have added an activity in a separate page. Like we could have activity for a good eTwinning project, activity for good platform, activity for creating a platform. So you just have to figure out how your platform has to look for it to be easier to use for your students. And it could include each of the activities or maybe some of activities, and in some of the pages you might have only pictures, in some of the pages you might have something else. And I'm thinking that I forgot to tell you, of course, there is also a project diary or the project journal where you can add some information or plan to add some information for your project. So basically a project platform plan, the plan for your platform depicts on how you will use the platform to carry out project activities. Okay, so the plan for your project platform depicts how you will use the platform to carry out the planned project activities. And thank you, that's a really good question there. Great. So I have affirmation from Santa that there are 3 projects handed in. In case you have any issues with that, we are still here. Just add it in the chat. In case everything is clear, the last task is usually evaluation so that we know how it went. And I'm adding a link in the chat right now. So those who still have questions about registering their projects, we are here to help. We will help gladly. And there's the chat down below. But for those who are done or who are maybe planning to have some team time and talk about things, thank you very much. This is very, very productive work. And it's great that you have managed to register your projects online. Just keep amazing me. You keep to amaze me every of our meetings. We have 5 projects now. That's just great. If I had a hat, I'd take it off for you. Very good job. Thank you very much. And yes, the evaluation. And in case you have any questions, just add them in chat and they will help. Still staying here to answer anything you want to know. Great. Well then, no questions. Um, thank you again. Have a great after Easter weekend. Have a wonderful spring, and we see you next time in 2 weeks. So on 23rd of the April, 7 o'clock Latvian time, or 7 o'clock plus 2 hours GMT. Be sure to do your home tasks, and you will have a reply about the previous home tasks on Monday since we moved them because of the Easter. And if you have any issues, because this is very, very technical, if you have any issues, just please send us an email. And you know that we always reply to your emails. We are here to help. So if there is anything that does not work, just write us an email. And next meeting, we are going to talk about different technologies that you can use for your projects. So we will add some more to your technological part of the project plan before the last meeting where you will present the projects to each other. And thank you once more. And since there are no other questions left, I will conclude this meeting in a second. And thank you, Sophie. I noted that in my journal. Thank you very much. See you soon. To be honest, I cannot wait to actually hear you on the last meeting. We will hear you all. So I'm very excited to hear you because I've been talking all this time and I just want to hear you too. Yes, and great questions today. And also like that comment from, was it Gaetan who wrote that 15 minutes are too short. I hope that you're having really good time with your working with your teams because by now you probably know each other a little bit better, which is one of the reasons why we have 2 weeks in between the meetings so that the period of time that you had to get known and improve your project plans was a little bit longer. So that's one thing behind it, and I really hope that you have good relationships with your teammates, and it's always nice to talk to each other during these meetings on Thursdays. I can't seem to end today, can I? Okay, thank you all. I'm just ending the meeting now, and see you 2 weeks. And you hear from us after your homework.